I read that 40% of women have put off preventative care and missed appointments because they were too busy. 40%.
Mhm.
That's a lot.
I'm not surprised about that. I would think it would might be even a little more because we are the backbone. I say this on the sister covenant all the time. We nurture everything between the boardroom and the bedroom and everything in between. And so we put ourselves last on the totem pole, on
Right,
the calendar.
right.
And we gotta do better.
And have you heard, because neither of us are physicians, and we're speaking specifically from layman's terms because we want to talk as girlfriends.
Mhm.
We're not going to always have a doctor in our midst, and we need to share experiences and encourage each other to ask questions. Um,
And take someone with you
yeah.
because when you're in the middle of it,
Hmm.
you're not even that day that I had already read on my portal, but I went to see the doctor.
Yeah.
I took my sister and my husband
Okay.
because I want other people to hear. When I got some other diagnostic, the genetic testing, and I had my girlfriend here
Hmm.
in the car with me, and I said, I'm so glad you were there
Yeah.
because you need other people to hear. So when you play it back,
Yeah.
you're saying, did you hear what she said?
Mhm.
Did I make it up? So yeah, you should take people with you too. You
Gotcha.
can't be just private.
Right.
So I've made myself available since my diagnosis a year ago. I've had two other friends to be diagnosed.
Wow. Wow. And so, is it your understanding that um most Black women have the dense breast tissue?
I have not been told. Now, do we just sit around at the dinner parties and say, now, are your breasts dense? How about you?
I know, but
But
and that's what
it just
surprised
seems
me when I
common.
sent the text.
Hmm.
I mean, how many people are on our little group text? It's like
There's
15 or
there,
something.
yeah, yeah,
And everyone said, "Are you getting a 3D? Are you getting a 3D?" Like everyone.
that's right.
So kind of like, okay, we are all in the same boat.
I think it's more common than we know.
Hmm.
I think our grandparents, I won't even say parents, they didn't talk about it.
Hmm.
That the C word was not mentioned, and we didn't talk about our private parts.
Right,
That
right.
was women's business. Um, I think we get it confused with large fat breasts. So if I'm a smaller, less endowed woman, I don't have to worry about the same things. Unfortunately, you do,
Yeah.
maybe even a little more because they don't have as much sampling to go by.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think women, Black women in particular, have several things that layer on top of what women have to undergo. What I've found out in this journey is our lack of vitamin D.
Mhm.
Are
I
you
heard that too.
knowledgeable?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I follow Dr. Bobby Price and he has at least 20 videos that I've been sending people talking about breast cancer and just some preventative things to look for in our diets. And he pointed out that women in general are typically deficient in vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
Black women especially are deficient in vitamin D, and that has been seen as a common thread amongst women who have breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we gotta work on the vitamin D.
And as said it a moment ago, younger women are being diagnosed.
Hmm.
So I'm not clear as to why that is when you're having 38-year-olds show up with breast cancer.
Yeah, yeah. And so when I had the conversation, because Pat Sams is in my head, with my doctor and said, okay, this is all that has transpired. You have my results. I need to get your opinion on, should I be concerned? Should I be pushing for other diagnostic? And basically what she said is like, there's no right answer. That to the point that we're making here is that you have to look at your history, you have to follow your intuition because she says 9 times out of 10, even when you see something and they say it's nothing, if you push for more testing, 9 times out of 10, it's fine. But you could be that one.
You can be that one.
Right.
You
And
can
if
be
you,
that one.
you can be that one.
So maybe the question from your doctor or for your doctor is, so do you think I fall in a category that maybe I should get these testings done?
More
Not
frequently.
not the mammogram, because the insurance company may not pay for that. But how about that MRI?
Mm.
can we stagger it?
Yeah.
So I'm being seen more often.
Right.
And I think that may be a possibility because maybe because of your dense breast, maybe because they've seen something before, maybe because this little shadowing, I qualify for this. But if you don't ask the question or you don't advocate, it's like now, because my mother passed away of uterine cancer that we didn't know she had.
Right.
Pap smears don't look at the uterus, they look at the ovaries. So at my age, I still make them do me a pap smear, but now I do an ultrasound too. I would ask my doctor, I am 32 and the standard is 40, but I come from a family of not breast cancer, but my father had prostate cancer and my mother passed away of uterine cancer and this first cousin had breast cancer. How appropriate would be for me to get some kind of testing done. What does that look like? That would be a question I would ask at 32, 38. You
Right.
know, so I think there are other things that we're not aware of, but we need to be aware of them.
Yeah.
We need to talk to more people in the medical community. We may need to get involved with the American Cancer Society, be an ambassador.
And so I had a conversation with there's a new director in our town in Rock Hill. We have a clinic called Northside Family Medical Center, and it's in a predominantly economically challenged area, but they are accessible, available, and open to all people. And there's a changing of the CEOs, and Mr. Ernest Brown is retiring, and Mr. Stu Carroll is taking over. So we've been in conversation just as he's getting to know the community and sharing his vision, and we're talking about, some collaborative work. And what he shared was that they were looking at, and I think he told me they have, I would have to double check. There's a diagnostic test where you actually lay on a table and your breasts are pretty much hanging down. So when they do the screening, it's getting all of your breast tissue all around. Because when we go in, they're
They're
putting your breast in the
compressed.
and they're compressing it. And I know they'll look at the image and she'll say, "Oh, let's redo that." And they're trying to make sure they get under the armpit and in the right areas. So what he was describing, I thought number one would be a little more comfortable. But number two, maybe not.
It's the MRI.
Okay,
That's what he's describing.
is that what he's describing?
Yes, and
Okay.
it's not comfortable.
Okay.
But don't let that deter you.
Right.
10 minutes of discomfort is worth
Okay.
your life. So it is.
So it is you're laying on a
You're
table
and they're hanging in a hole, if you
okay.
will.
Yeah.
2 holes.
Right.
Yeah. It's
But then just making sure that you're getting that tissue around, just not the protruding parts, but
So can we talk about that,
yeah,
Dawn?
yes, let's.
I have a girlfriend. So 2019, as I said, I go in August, and as it turned out that year, no problem. And that's what you want to hear. No problem. But maybe you should ask some more questions if
Right.
that becomes prevailing. But another very close girlfriend, a college friend, as a matter of fact, she was diagnosed that same year in December, so several months later. But hers was not in the breast, and she has very small breasts, but again, dense breasts, but very small. It was in her chest wall. So how many of us do self-exams and we do them up here? We should, but she didn't.
Right.
And that's where it was. So again, we have to ask the right questions. We have to learn for ourselves. We have to go to study groups, and we have to share information, Dawn, like we're doing. It's not meant to just keep it and hoard it for
Right.
ourselves. We have these opportunities and we have these loud mouths. We got to share the information.
Right. And it's not just feeling, it is also standing in the mirror and looking at your breasts and being familiar with how your breasts look and how they are positioned, and one can be bigger than the other, all the things.
I had one girlfriend tell me, and this is a Caucasian woman, she said when they finally diagnosed her, I want to say she was stage 2 by that time, very well educated woman. And she said, and I knew my nipple was changing. I don't know, but I think her mother was sick. She eventually passed away. But while her mother was sick is when she got diagnosed. I think her mother passed away and her mother never knew she had been diagnosed. But she just hadn't taken the time to get the answers.
Right.
But she knew something wasn't right. So I think it's your point is well taken. You see yourself every day. You're brushing your teeth, you're doing the things you need to do, but are you really taking the time to see yourself?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, Pat. So I'm going to go back to, first of all, how I found out through the magazine. And I'm like, oh, so this is
The
what
the call I got. Woo.
I was like, because I'm reading and I'm like, did I just, what? Like, really, Pat? So let's talk about how you begin to, first of all, how you feel in the moment when you get the diagnosis. And someone's there with you at the time when you received the news, or you received it by yourself?
So we had gone through the biopsy and taken my records, as you know, and all of that. So we had the biopsy done at Mayo. And I was expecting to get the results the day I got it or the next day. And so my primary physician and I are friends. Very, very kind man. And he had texted me that morning at like 8:15. I've been looking for the diagnosis. I don't see it. Me too. Don't see it. So I am literally standing in the lobby of a long-term care facility where a friend of mine, a sorority sister of mine, who is a year older than me, is now residing because she's had a health challenge.
Okay.
I'm signing in to go visit her when I get a pop-up on my Mayo portal that some results are in. So I knew my biopsy results were in, and I immediately text my physician and I began to read. And he called me immediately as I am reading because your eyes immediately go to diagnosis, and it's abnormal carcinoma, and all the other big words. And he called and I said, listen, I don't know what's going on, but what I do know is I have two non-negotiable dates, and one is the inauguration, January 20th, and my hair. I gotta be cute. And then the other was a opening retreat for my nonprofit, which you serve on the board of. So thank you so much, the Legacy League. But that's where my head was, and I processed
Again,
it.
not thinking about other.
And I said, okay, God, you obviously have given me this for a reason. So I'm going to be in some more spaces. My friends that know me said, oh, you're going to wear pink a lot more. Yes, I'm going to adorn my red. That's why I wore this for you today, my pink scarf. And that afternoon I went and door knocked because we were in the middle of a presidential campaign. So I went and held up signs, and because that was the last week of the campaign. So that's what I chose to do because for me, it's bigger than me, Dawn. So that evening is when I called the editor of that magazine and I said, we need to include this because I can't talk about all the awards and things without being transparent.
About the struggles.
The conversation with my two adult sons. I have two.
Well, who did you tell next? Who was the very
My
next
husband.
call you made?
My very next call was my husband.
You called or you went home? Do you remember?
I called him.
Okay.
I called him and I said the results were in, and it's cancer. And he said, okay, all right, we gonna handle it. I said, we gonna handle it. And he's the one that took me. He did go with me uh, for canvassing that night because he knew I was going to go canvassing. So he went with me that night. I don't think he would have done that if I hadn't had that diagnosis. But he was my first call, and then my sister was my next. And we, I think, FaceTimed the boys later that evening because I wanted them to see my face and see that I was calm and I was fine and it was going to be fine. So that's how we
And I want to say your boys are what ages?
My adult sons are 25 and 27, so then they were 24 and 26.
Okay.
And at the time living in Washington, D.C. and New York.
Okay.
So not close to me at all in Jacksonville, Florida. So it was important to me that I be in a space where I'm not rushed because I am going a mile a minute. I wanted them to see my face and to see that I was calm because people take cues from you. So I think that day when you called me and I said, Don, I'm fine and I'm going to be fine. That probably, I hope, gave you some comfort. And I think that's important. I think that's important how we show up. And again, we have to get the right answers for ourselves so we can articulate it. So what touched my heart is Mayo again being so thorough. I heard that this surgeon was the best in her field from other friends. And I want to put a pin in that, come back to that. So I advocated for her, although her schedule was insane. And I said, I want her. So what I then did, Dawn, is they said it would be January before I could have this surgery. And I said, no, I don't want to wait to January. We're in October, right? So I just called like every day, like 3 times a day. And I got to know the scheduler and he got to know me. And just somehow there was an opening the day after Thanksgiving. And that's how I got the surgery done. And my sons flew in for Thanksgiving, and my one son had a different flight. So he changed his flight because we needed to take our family pictures for Christmas. And so we did that at 7 a.m. in a whole nother city. And we drove to Mayo by 9 o'clock because I had to have some pre-work done because the next day is Thanksgiving. And then the next day was my surgery where I had to be at Mayo at 5:30 a.m. So I share that part of the story to say it is a family. It is a village. It is a community. But you gotta let people be there for you in the way in which they can show up.
Absolutely.
But you gotta share. You gotta share.